Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's your first time, Talk Tuesday is our weekly segment where we go over tips to help you enhance your finances. I'm Coach D, and I want to help you to reach and exceed your financial goals while still enjoying life in the process. This month, we are focusing on credit as it is Credit Awareness Month. We are finishing this month or this series talking about things that affect our credit, whether good or bad, but maybe we don't know it, maybe we don't realize it, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you hopping in. Comments already in the chat before I even go live. I love it here. Thank y'all. Y'all really on YouTube. I'll be showing out next week. I think I said I was going to start doing, like YouTube only, and then maybe because right now it's also plays other places too. But I might cut them off and just focus on YouTube because that's where we're at, and that's where you guys are at. So thank you for hopping in. So let's get to it. I hope you guys are having a great month. I hope these topics are helping you to think about your credit and do different things with your credit, check your credit, and be more mindful with it. So I'm hoping this topic for this month has been awesome. Next month we'll be talking about a different topic, and so stay tuned for that because we meet when every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. All right, so you guys are so sweet. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, how you guys doing? All right, so today we have four things we're going to go over as far as things that affect our credit. So, number one, let's talk about authorized users. Have you ever had an authorized user on one of your accounts? So, that could go either way, it could be good or bad. So, it could be good because it'll affect, like, say you are the primary account holder and you allow a child to become an authorized user. So, that could benefit them if you have good credit. You're allowing them to kind of use your credit to kind of lift them up, to build their credit. So the good thing is for them, if it is a child or a younger, maybe a sibling, or you're helping them to increase their credit score. Now, when you add them as an authorized user, they also get a card. So good and bad. So if you give them the card, if they do well with it, then it's awesome. You guys are flourishing together. If you give them the card and they don't do well with it, then that can affect your credit and make your credit score go down because there might be spending too much, or maybe they spend so much that the bill went up so much that you can't afford to pay it, whether it's the minimum payment, whether it's the full amount. It could just be different things. It could spiral out. So, if you are trying to help a family member or a child or a sibling, then you could add them as an authorized user and just not simply give them the card. Keep the card. That way you're maintaining it, you're controlling it, you have full control over your credit and your account, but it's still helping them to build up. Now, if you're someone who, you're not, doing what you're supposed to do, don't add someone as an authorized user because now you're going to affect their credit. It's not going to help them at all. So if they had, halfway decent credit, it's probably going to pull it down. Or if they didn't have credit at all, it's really going to mess them up before they even get started. So, comment says they can use the card, but I need to hold on to the card. Yeah, I would say hold on to the card, hold on to it because, well, maybe if it's someone who, I mean, you could put different restrictions on it too. So maybe if you want to give it to them to allow them to try it out, but they do also have like debit cards for people that you can get for depending on how old they are. If it is a child, or someone over under 18 or under 21, they have them where you can get it and have limits set on them. So if you want to try them out with that first, maybe allow them to be an authorized user to help them to build their credit up before they get of age. So when they get there, they're not working to build it; it's already built up for them. Then you can just get them a little debit card they can try, and you can turn it on, turn it off. You can approve things. So check it out. Check it with your financial institution because they have things to help. Because now financial literacy is really becoming popular. It's something we should have been known, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So people are doing things to kind of help us all out. So be mindful of that. Look at what your financial institution offers. If you have more than one, check them all out because they might offer different things. So that was number one. Number two, having a joint bank account. So let me know in the comments. Do you have a joint bank account? I would love to hear it. Joint bank account, joint bank account. So for me, I do not have a joint bank account. I did have a joint bank account in the past, and it was not very successful for me. Um, no joint account. If they're responsible, then they can hold on to it and have your notifications on so you can also keep track of the spending. Yes, and that's probably about the credit cards. That comment is definitely about the credit cards. That's a very good tip. Joint for savings. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we have it both ways. We have it both ways. So for joint accounts, so those could be good, those could be bad, but how it could affect your credit is, let's say we both have the account together and we're not tracking it. We're not checking it all the time. And I know that I'm putting in 200, 500, depending on what kind of account. It could be, we might be having an account where we're putting in all of our money. We could have an account where we're putting in like, a certain amount, like it could be our savings account. So, if I'm tracking what I'm putting in there, I'm not tracking what you put in there. And we're not looking at the statement. We're not saying who's spending what. Maybe, I put in this much, you put in this much, but we just both spent this much. So then now we have fees, and then nobody pays the fees. And then we don't know who actually overspent unless we look at the statement, look at the transactions, and really add it up. But it could come into something where we're like, well, I'm not paying that because I didn't go over, and I put the money in, and why did you use it? It could turn into a big thing. Ultimately, if we don't pay those fees, that can affect our credit. That'll go over to your credit, and then if it gets really bad, then you wouldn't even be able to have an account, a bank account, until you clear that stuff up. And then they have like other accounts you can get. I don't want to say any names, but there are other accounts you can get when you have difficulty getting a bank account, which you don't want to have that when you want to have a true bank account. So, it can become dangerous, and that could, affect you. That can go into collections. That could end up on your credit that way. Collections is, we don't want collections. So avoid collections at all costs. But those fees can really take it there unless somebody's like a bigger person and they really, pay it off, and then after that I bet we don't want to have the bank account together anymore now. I had to pay those fees and you didn't help with the fees, and it could really turn into something. So I would recommend joint accounts for like couples, who are, living together, who have joint bills. And I definitely wouldn't say have joint accounts for all of our money. So let's say you have this account, you have this account, and this account is for our bills. Our bills is, just take a number, it's $1,000. Okay, so we both put 500 in there, and we don't take anything out. Our bills just come out of it, so it doesn't cost anything. Or let's say, for savings, and we put our money in here for the savings. Hey, thank you for tuning in. We put our money in a joint account for savings. So we're letting it grow. We're letting it grow. We're letting it grow. We're working together to build this up for our future. That's also good. And I just say, I don't think it's bad to have a joint account. I just say it's awesome to communicate, because then you have a joint account and maybe somebody's putting in a lot, somebody's not putting in anything, and then someone else is spending all the money. So it's not fair. So let's have an understanding. Okay, we can take out this much every month, or we can take out this every 2 weeks, or we're doing this for, just decide how we're spending it. I think that would be awesome and helpful, and keep everything cool and keep everybody happy. I also have on here, oh, I put a note on here about, as far as sometimes when we have accounts, whether joint or not, and we think an account is closed and maybe it's not closed. And then, some accounts, like I had a bank account, I think, well, I don't want to say any bank names. I don't want to do anything, but I had a bank account with a company. They were purchased by another financial institution. So the name changed, things changed, and then this new institution had fees that my previous financial institution didn't have. So I wasn't aware of it. So I had the money just sitting in the account. It was like my savings account. So I had money at different banks, but this bank was really for my savings. Next thing I know, I go back, and then I'm like, where'd all my money go? They were taking money out every month for fees that I wasn't aware of, because before there weren't any fees. So something like that. Next thing you know, there's so many fees that, they're talking about closing the account because there's no money in there. So then it's like, what? How are you going to close it and there's no money in there if I had money in there? So stuff like that. Sometimes bank accounts close. We're unaware of it. We're not tracking because, things change. So that's why I say it's also good to really look at your bank account. Check your statements. If you have money savings in another account, set up notifications so If something comes out, something goes in, interest, fees, anything. So not only that, and with scammers nowadays, everybody's trying to do everything. So just be mindful, check your stuff, check your stuff, check your stuff. That can get ugly if you don't have this, if you're not on the same page. Yes, I bet you're talking about the joint account. Absolutely. Number three, I have on here co-signing. So we co-sign for our loved ones sometimes, and sometimes our friends, depending on how much we love them, right? So co-signing could be good, it could be bad. So if the person does well, it's a lovely thing. If the person does not do well, and you're 100% responsible for their actions, that will 100% affect your credit, because if they don't pay it and they refuse, like, oh, well, I'm done with it, you're responsible. What if you can't afford it? What if you have your own stuff that you're already worrying about, and now you have to worry about what they had that they just, they were done with? So that part of co-signing is the ugly side of it. So be mindful of that. That will affect your credit depending on what it is you actually co-signed on. So I would say if you are going to co-sign for someone, make sure it's something that you can afford to pay by yourself. If, for instance, think of the worst case scenario. If they refuse to do it, they're done with it, they give up on it. Can you afford to pay your personal expenses plus that item? So think about that. That stinks because you're trying to help them. Yes, yes, yes. And that's how it usually starts. The person, they want it so bad, they're telling you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I just need you to help me out. And then, they probably start off very well and they fall off the wagon. So, but then it's like, maybe they don't even care about their credit, because their credit will be affected too, but they might not care about their credit. Some people will get to a point where they're like, well, it's already messed up, but forget about your credit though, right? So, just be careful with that and just be mindful when you're co-signing. Just remember, you are responsible for that 100%. So be mindful of that. So that'll affect your credit. And last but not least, which is very important because we just talked about people trying to get into your accounts and hack your stuff, is people opening accounts for you. Said yes. All right, you said yes, but I'm not sure what the yes was. Maybe yes for you trying to help the person out. But when somebody opens an account in your name, that's number four, our last one. Someone opens an account in your name. It could be, someone you don't know, someone who got it, into one of your accounts, someone who maybe just got a piece of your mail, somebody, hey, thank you for hopping in. So it could be different things. Somebody can get into your account. Somebody could, just be a hacker. Now they're sending different things to links for you to click on. I'm just watching stuff. I see stuff in the inbox, in the on your comments on different social medias. They'll act like there's somebody else. They'll make another page with the same picture, and you think you're talking to you know who it was, but it's not. And it's people are just working really hard. But people will work their way into your stuff just so they can use, if your information, depending on, some people use the same password. So if I got into this account, guess what? I probably can get into this account. So be mindful of that too. If that's you, if you're using the same account, different places, be mindful of that, because some people, if they get into one place, oh, let me try it over here. So, but having an account, somebody getting in an account with your information and your name, like, okay, sometimes they'll, they might do good. They really want. I have heard of personal experiences with a coworker where somebody went and got something in their name and did very well with it. They were, appreciative, I guess, that they were able to get it. But you have instances where people, they don't give a darn. I got this stuff. I got it with your name. What do I care? It's mine. You're never going to find me. You don't know who I am, and whatever. So be careful with that. Be careful with that. And that's another reason why we spoke about earlier in the month, checking our credit report, things like that. We don't know what's going on. We're not checking things. So, we know what we're doing, but we want to know what other people are doing. So check your credit. That happened to me. So if somebody opened up an account with you in your name, let me know. Let me know. That happened to me at a job. Our HR department, I guess you would call it hacked. I don't know what they called it back then because it was a lot of years ago. But somebody kind of got into their systems and got all of our information. I mean, all of our information, our name, our social, date of birth, address. I mean, everything. It was terrible. It was terrible. Which said that happened to you. I'm guessing you mean somebody opened up an account though. Let me know when they opened up the account. Were they like? Did they do good by your name? Did they do bad by your name? How did you find out? That type of stuff is scary though. So be careful with that. Be mindful of that. And I hope in this month of credit awareness, where we talked about things that, were interesting to you, to help you to learn, to help you to think differently, and to help you to focus on your credit, whether you have good credit or mediocre credit. It should help you to think about things to even make it better or help it to stay where it's at. So, very scary. Yes, it is very scary. So, be very careful with that because our credit is so important. It's so important. When you get to different levels of credit, you can do so much. You can do so much with it. But I don't want to, hold you guys for too long. Cherie, you can put your comment up. And then I'll just watch it on the, because after we end the live, it'll still show up for me to see it. Thanks so much, Coach D. Great topic, credit awareness. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Seriously, I hope you guys enjoyed it all month. If you missed any of the lives, go back and check them out. We had different topics talking about different things. And I appreciate you guys for hopping in. I'll see you next week, same place, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. And if you came in late, go watch the replay. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, wait a minute. I got a comment. Yes, it's good stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really hope it is all the time. That's my desire. All right. See ya.